Good day, everyone. Meteorologist Mark Molnar here. Thanks for joining me for this edition of MeteoMark's Weather Tropical Edition. Seems like we're dealing with the tropics day in and day out here with update after update. All my subscribers that have stuck with me all these years, thank you. And all new subscribers, thanks for joining us. Welcome to the channel. Great to have you here. Take a look at Tropical Storm Philippe. The European model last video update, if you remember back from Sunday here, was showing this storm weaker, eluding any subtropical ridge weaknesses here and bending the system towards the southwest. It looks like Puerto Rico, Dominican Republic, Haiti might be under the gun for this storm and eventually moves it into the eastern Bahamas. Where does it go? Does it go up the U.S. East Coast towards Florida or into the Gulf of Mexico? We'll take a look at all the details. We're also going to be watching just behind it whatever happens with Invest 91L here. We'll take a look at that. And guess what? Across North America, we are going to be dealing with one heck of a mega high pressure system. What implications could this have for our overall pattern? Let's get into it. So here's our infrared satellite loop. Lots of moisture back over here towards Florida and the Bahamas. Here's Philippe. It is holding on. There is a big burst of convection, as you can see here, right on the northeast side. That's looking more impressive. Look at behind it, though. Invest 91L. This is a massive blob of convection. So, taking a look at the overall analysis of Philippe, I'll show you the European here quick first, then the GFS. Here we go. As we go into the 28th, into the 29th, you can see, yeah, it actually is staying very weak. It's almost very difficult to make out a low-level circulation here. You see it's being steered by this massive high here just south of Newfoundland, and that's going to continue to push this system towards the west and eventually towards the west-southwest here. You can see on the 30th here as we get into the weekend, Saturday. A lot of the activity going just to the north of Puerto Rico, but I would not be surprised if you get some showers and thunder showers after that. We're actually going to see what the rainfall totals are going to be looking like here across the islands. But you can see a lot of the moisture heading north here towards October 1st. You know, Hispaniola getting in on the activate. Could Jamaica and the Cayman Islands? Well, you might be a little too far south, but I think at least some tropical moisture will feed your way. And then as we get into, here's October 2nd and the 3rd. Look at this. Yeah, this is quite a bit of rain just east of the Bahamas. So Philippe is going to basically hang out here for a little bit until eventually it looks like, yeah, it does start to kind of fall apart here, at least right around the island of Hispaniola. And some of its energy gets pushed up to the northeast here, presumably by wind shear potentially. But look at this. Yeah, as we go through October 6th, you kind of get the sense that it's in this region here. So this high pressure, see this mega high here that I was talking about at the first part of the segment? This is going to be in control of our weather here across the east. It's basically going to block everything from the west and here from the tropics to the east. Now look behind it here. This is what's happening with Invest 91L, I should say. Here it is. So it's back here just behind Philippe. Is this system, here's the 29th, the 30th, is basically going to take a very similar path to Philippe here, according to the European model. And as we go in time, eventually this system slides just enough to the west here. You can see the high pressure system moving and retreating to the east here, south of Newfoundland. So essentially this allows this system to eventually find a weakness in the subtropical ridge as it's strengthening so much more readily. So this could actually put us into play parts of Bermuda, and I do not want to take you off the hook here into parts of Nova Scotia through Newfoundland here. So keep an eye out. Bermuda, these areas, you're not off the hook just yet with whatever happens with Invest 91L here. And then as you see here across the Caribbean, we are going to be dealing with a tremendous amount of rain. As we just go back here towards the 27th into the 28th, look what's happening here. Yeah, you do get a few breaks here the first part of the weekend, but look what's happening here from the Central America area all the way up through the Cayman Islands and Jamaica. You start to get these pushes of tropical moisture here. Here's October 2nd, October 3rd, and you can see what's going on here. There is plenty of tropical moisture to be had. Now, if we go out further out into the Atlantic, what's our intertropical convergence zone looking like? Well, It looks pretty impressive. We have another spin up around October 3rd or 4th behind 91L. And look at this, quite a few systems blowing up here just east of the Lesser Antilles as we get towards October 6th. All right, so here's the GFS perspective. I just want to make note, look at all, there it is. So take a look at all the tropical moisture here from the northern Caribbean all the way up through Florida. We're going to keep an eye on that here. You know, something could always come out of that as well. Something just worth mentioning. But look at that. Yeah, that just continues to push to the northeast as we go through the 29th into the 30th. Now, here's Philippe out here. We'll take a look at what potentially could happen here along the U.S. East Coast here, too. You know, there's something that's trying to spin up. I think it's more of a coastal, you know, type nor'easter type low, but it could be subtropical in nature as well. We'll definitely keep an eye on it here. Looks pretty disorganized, but here is Philippe. Okay, so here we go. That is 90L behind it. It's easy to get these two mixed up. So here it is on the 29th. Low-level center is right to the northeast of the Virgin Islands here. Northeast of best area here I can note is St. John's. So here we go. Watch this. GFS takes this also further to the south and west. So let me just back this up right to... Here we go. It's going right over the island of Puerto Rico here October 1st at 5 p.m. Now watch this as we continue to go in time. GFS slams this right into Hispaniola. Moisture funneling to the north. You can see kind of some evidence of some wind shear in this region as well. And you see this system kind of gets washed out, so to speak, you know, to the northeast. So the GFS washing this up to the northeast. Now, as we go backwards in time here, take a look at this. Here is 90L. Yeah, this system actually could become quite a big hurricane here, according to the GFS. Definitely not out of the question at this point. Racking up another potential hurricane here. GFS comfortably taking this away from North America, Nova Scotia, and Newfoundland. But I do caution you, look what's right out here is the Azores. And this system may be making a beeline here for the Azores, so this is something we definitely need to keep an eye on. Now, as we go back towards the East Coast here, see this big slug of moisture off the southeast coast? This is the 28th. We're dealing with this big mega high up here right over Quebec, and that's going to continue. But take a look at our moisture pattern here. Look at this. This is coming dangerously close to the East Coast here. Like I said, I don't think too much is going to come of this, but something we definitely need to keep an eye on here. You can actually see some low-level center trying to form here, and something does try to start forming here. It looks more either coastal nor'easter type or maybe even subtropical, but the GFS blows this up by, you know, it's kind of heading out to sea by October 1st. So thank you to Tropical Tidbits here for our mid-layer dry air analysis. You can see where the tropical moisture plume is here off the southeast coast, pushing up to the northeast with our coastal system. Big blocking high over eastern Canada. Here's our two systems. Isn't that amazing how close they are here? There's Philippe. It almost looks like Invest 91L is becoming stronger in the coming days here, and it will. Look how we kind of lose Philippe here. There it is. Lots of dry air. A little bit of wind shear as well, but dry air looks like it's going to be the big culprit here for Philippe. Will Philippe hold on? I think it'll hold on just enough. You can see the moisture plume with it here. There's Invest 91L, probably a tropical storm by this point. This is Tuesday, October 3rd, and then we head into the rest of next week. You can see Philippe's moisture kind of gets plumed up here towards Bermuda. And you can see the wind shear, increasing wind shear over the area of Philippe here. Our next system behind it looks like it's becoming a hurricane, whatever comes out of 91L here. 941 millibars, that's October 6th. Look at what's protecting the East Coast, though. Massive dry air plume here along the U.S. East Coast. That's going to be kind of interesting here. So as we take a look at the Western Caribbean here, parts of the Gulf, Central America, yeah, the big story, Cayman Islands to Jamaica. Watch this rainfall pile up throughout the weekend. It looks like the Cayman Islands really getting about 40, 60 millimeters, 1.5 to 2.5 inches. But look at, as we continue in time, it looks like next week into the following week, especially next week, we start to get into some heavier rains here in Jamaica, upwards of 60 to as much as 90 millimeters. It's going to bring you up to about 3.5 inches. Cayman Islands, you're closer to 100 millimeters here, so you might be seeing upwards of 3.5, 4 inches here. And as we head over to the Eastern Caribbean here, look at this. So we get a tropical wave here. It looks like Trinidad and Tobago making out with no rain here through the end of the week. Tropical wave heads through the Lesser Antilles, Leeward Islands here with anywhere from about 16 to 30 millimeters. It'll eke out about 3/4 of an inch on average. Look at our Invest 91L here. Look at that. If that were to move closer, look how much rain. Island of Hispaniola here with our system over to Puerto Rico. Hispaniola looking like the big winner for rainfall out of Philippe, upwards of close to 90 to 110 millimeters. That is a solid 3.5 to 4.5 inches of rain. Puerto Rico, you'll see lighter amounts, probably on the order of about 1.5, 2 inches of rain. Now, trekking into the Pacific here, we have this little area, about 20%. Here's the Hawaiian Islands over here. So let's take a look, see if this system's going to comfortably stay to the south. And that high pressure northeast of the Hawaiian Islands should keep the system comfortably just to your south. But look how close this frontal boundary and this big low pressure system is getting to the Hawaiian Islands by October 4th. That is pretty far south. Let's go out here into the Western Pacific, see what's going on. Is there anything to worry about? Well, let's start here towards the 26th into the 27th. You can see there's not too much other than some monsoon rains here across the north central Philippines. But look at this. As we go in time, there is a broad area of low pressure we'll have to watch just south of Japan here. Something just to keep an eye on. But it does seem to be forming on the tail end of this frontal boundary. So something, that always happens here. But look how it does start to spin off towards October 4th and 5th. It doesn't look like a typhoon or anything, but it does come right between the Philippines and Taiwan by October 5th here. So that's something we'll have to keep an eye on. Other than that, it's just a lot of monsoon rains. All right, so here we go, HRRR Future Radar. Looking like a mess here across Florida as we got a lot of tropical moisture. This is that coastal system that might be trying to form, but for the most part, other than Florida and some extreme coastal area regions here, we might stay off the hook for this. Look, there's also another low trying to form here off of Delmarva. Now, look here back across the Midwest and parts of the Ohio Valley. We got some showers and some stronger thunderstorms here we'll have to keep an eye on. Let me just zoom out here for you so you can get a little perspective. And as we head towards the 27th, heading into Wednesday here, here's the deal. More rain, showers and thunderstorms from extreme South Carolina here, coastal Georgia, all the way down the peninsula of Florida here. Now, as we head up to the Ohio Valley, you might see some showers here near Cleveland just afternoon, right around noon. Some showers and thunderstorms continuing. Look at the Northeast, though. We are eking out a really nice day as high pressure builds and crusts across the region. Now, look what's happening. Florida, more of the same here. Lots of gully washers cropping up here as we head into the overnight hours of Wednesday night. And then look at this. Showers and thunderstorms cropping in here on southern Michigan, western Ohio, and those move east overnight. They're 7 a.m. on Thursday morning. Stronger showers and thunderstorms south of Columbus here towards Cincinnati, Lexington, Kentucky. That heads to the east. Maybe some showers and thunder showers here around Cleveland, Akron area as well. Outer Banks, you might be getting some moisture here with this system it's a very broad area of low pressure, and you can see more rain continuing here across Florida as we head into Thursday afternoon. All right, so U.S. and Canadian weather here. Yeah, the big story is going to be this mega block Canadian high, which is also going to affect the eastern part of the United States, too. It's just going to be anchored here right over the east. Here's the massive storminess out west here. Look at this, from Oregon, Washington, all the way up to British Columbia here, all of Western Canada, all the way up to the Yukon. Is going to be crazy. But here we're dealing with that tropical moisture along the U.S. East Coast. You can see European model keeping this further south. You can see as we go in time, not too much to talk about across Eastern Canada other than beautiful blue skies. But here's that moisture kicking up along the U.S. East Coast. This is by the 29th. You can see, look what's going on here. We might have some problems here with some showers and some heavier rain here just along the East Coast. But like I said, there it is. Low-level circulation. Is it subtropical? maybe, but at this point, it almost looks like a typical coastal low trying to form some formation here. Now, look what starts to happen right around the 30th here. Way up here north of Hudson Bay, you get a low pressure system, but look what's forming just to the south. Big area of high pressure and control across central and southeastern Canada. That's going to continue to build, and look what starts to happen here. That high pushes to the eastern United States here. So look at, as we get into the weekend into next week towards October 2nd, we're going to be looking at high pressure system, and here across Ontario, stormy weather is on the way. Could this finally be a push of colder air up here? Colder air coming down? Well, it does not look that way because this system remains pretty progressive. There is an area of high pressure building in behind it. You can see towards October 2nd and the 3rd. But we do get these successive systems that are able to push into this ridge just a bit. But you see this high pressure system is elongated by this point as we get towards October 1st along the East Coast. Now look at, there's quite a bit of storminess over here in the Canadian Rockies. That's something we'll have to keep an eye on as well. Now let's continue to show here our big high pressure system camping out across Quebec here. So as we head through the rest of the first week of October, you can see what's happening here. Big low pressure system right over Hudson Bay here, but there is our big blocking high here along the U.S. East Coast, and it does encompass southern Ontario, Quebec, New Brunswick, and Nova Scotia, all the way over here to Newfoundland as well. Now that is going to bring this trough out west here right into the plains, and we're going to see this Colorado low start to form. That is in conjunction with our big upper level low here across Hudson Bay. So this is a stormy pattern. It looks so reminiscent of this past winter, doesn't it? And here's a quick word from my affiliate. Stay with me here. I've got plenty more weather right after this. I am proud to announce that I am now an affiliate with Trilogy Maps. TrilogyMaps.com, bringing you the most digital, customizable maps found nowhere else on the internet. These maps are simply stunning. It's an advanced layering system that makes these maps great for making forecast maps with ease or any other maps that you would like to display important information on. The resolution on these maps is simply amazing. From the detail of everything here in the States, and you can also create stunning digital professional layered maps from also across the entire world. And don't forget, in checkout, the discount code option, use my code MeteoMark, hit apply, and you will get 20% off your order. So if you want the most professional, customizable, and affordable weather maps found nowhere else on the internet, look no further than TrilogyMaps.com. Link in the description down below along with your discount code. So taking a look at the upper air pattern, this is that Mega Omega block. Yeah, say that 2 times fast. There we go. As we head through the weekend into next week, that kind of just reinforces here across Southeast Canada and eventually encompassing much of the U.S. East Coast. That's going to keep things really blocked up here. Essentially, there is that weakness you can see off the U.S. East Coast. That's associated with our tropical systems and also our coastal systems. So still have to keep an eye on, but for the most part, it looks like this is blocking all these systems to the west as well. So we're looking at quite a blocking pattern here as we go in time. And let's actually just take a look at the CFS here. So let's go with the CFS here deeper into October. Look at that Omega Ridge, still kind of holding on here across the east, Southeast Canada, the Northeast, Ohio Valley, Great Lakes. But look what happens come the middle of the month, right around the 14th, 15th. Wow, this is quite a difference. Still a lot of blocking up here in Canada, but this, wow, that is looking like an East Coast trough, a mega trough. So we'll have to see if this materializes. We could be looking at a major pattern shift mid to late October with that Omega block breaking down. And we're trading places here with the West Mega Ridge and a mega trough here across the east. So liquid equivalent precipitation, we hope it's liquid this time of year. Look at there across the Midwest, Ohio Valley, anywhere from 1/2 to 3/4 of an inch, locally higher to 1+ inches potential. Look at Florida, South Georgia, the Carolinas. This is the European model, by the way. And look at this, parts of Long Island, extreme eastern New Jersey, New York City up to Cape Cod being clipped by this potential coastal type, almost like a nor'easter, a very early season nor'easter. Let's zoom in here. So as we get into the southeast here, there's your rainfall totals through the rest of the week into the weekend. We are piling on 2 to as much as 4 inches of rain, especially just north of Miami here and right around Miami. Lots of rain all the way up to South Georgia here, clipping parts of coastal Carolinas as well, all the way over to Tampa and all the way up here to Tallahassee as well. And getting up here into the mid-Atlantic, take a look at this. Well, we can actually see the Ohio Valley on this as well. Look at this. As we get through, we're just going to head through the weekend here. Look at this. So the rest of the week, lots of, even into western Pennsylvania. So about 1/2 to 3/4 of an inch. Cleveland looking at right around 1.5 inches. That's quite a bit of rain. So definitely watering those lawns. And yeah, keeping things growing. Now here across, we're going to zoom in here into the northeast. So let's take a look at this nor'easter potential, coastal low, whatever you want to call it here. Look at this. European model now clipping, especially Long Island here, almost 3.5 to 4.5 inches of rain. It cuts off very abruptly to the north, where New York City's about 1 inch. And look at just north and west of New York City, Providence, Rhode Island, it really tapers off. Look at Boston, almost nothing. All right, so you want to take a look at temperatures here? Here they are. Yeah, staying a little cool here into the northeast as we head into Wednesday. Not too bad, though. It's warmer than what you have been. Mid to upper 60s. Take a look here across the southern plains. The heat is on back into the 90s. How long is that going to last? Well, it's kind of sticking with us again here. You see 90 all the way up here to Nebraska. That's pretty warm for this time of year. Look what's happening, though. There's a big trough kicking in out west. This is warming up in the northeast as we get into Thursday and Friday. You see evidence that there might be some clouds here with those holding down those temperatures into the 60s here with that potential coastal system just off the coast here. So definitely something to keep an eye on. Heat building out here in the Central Plains. Again, 90s, 80s all the way up there to Minnesota. Here's Saturday. Looking really nice here across the northeast. Lower 70s, a popular number, all the way to the Ohio Valley, 73 in Cleveland, 73 in Rochester, all the way up to the mid-70s here in Maine. Very nice. And we head into Sunday. Look at this. You can see the temperature disparity out west here versus the plains. You can see where the ridge is here and the trough out west. And here into the northeast and mid-Atlantic, Ohio Valley, we're staying in the mid-70s. That looks beautiful. Into your Monday of next week, the October 2nd, you really cannot complain. Look at this. This is upper 70s across the northeast. Who would have ever thought we'd be heading into October 2nd here with upper 70s? Heat just continuing across the plains. And look at here into Florida, we're in the 80s. Massive cooler temperatures out west. Extended outlook from hometown viewers, Bangor to Scranton, Zipper, Susquehanna, River Valley of New York and Pennsylvania. Take a look at this Wednesday all the way through the weekend here. It is looking sunny. We may have some clouds and a few scattered showers on Friday. Yeah, holding the temperatures down a bit. But, you know, we bounce back up again for the weekend, 70s. You look at those overnight lows. Some of those, starting out lows here, as cold as the upper 30s, lower 40s. But by the weekend, it is looking much more summer-like. 70s and lows in the upper 40s to lower 50s. Enjoy. As always, thanks for joining me for this edition of MeteoMark's Weather. Take a look at my Facebook page at MeteoMark, also Weather Northeastern, also Hurricane Northeastern to follow the tropics. And if you want to hop over to my Twitter page, it's at Weather Eastern. It's MeteoMark.com. Thanks for joining me. Question or comment down below. Subscribe if you haven't already. Hit that bell notification button so you're alerted when a video comes.